welcome our host and pianist, Yana Reznik.
Hello. Welcome to the premiere of Playful Talk. My name is Yana Reznik, and I will be your host and pianist. And we're here in Chicago, broadcasting live all over the world via the internet. So hello to our audiences, wherever you're sitting, in France, or Turkey, or Africa, or America. So what we'd like to do today is something very, very unusual. The audiences all over the world have an opportunity to interact with musicians who will be performing for you by tweeting, if you know how to do that, which I'm very challenged. But if you know how to tweet, please tweet us at Playful Talk. And also, the audiences who are here with us in the studio, thank you so much for coming. You will have an opportunity. You were given out little cards that you can use at any time if you have any questions. And anytime you want to pass them on to my wonderful help here on the right side, you're more than welcome to do so. And of course, there will be prizes for the questions that you ask. So, and the same goes to the internet audiences. Please do submit whatever thoughts you might have for our quartet or for myself, or comments or questions. We'll be very happy to hear from you. So, to begin, our special guests have appeared on PBS and NPR, and they are a quartet in residency at Ars Viva Orchestra. And they have played the concerts for over 40,000 kids with their special programs. It's very, very exciting. And there's a CVNC Arts Journal that wrote of them, "Lest anyone think that chamber concerts have to be stiff and dull, they haven't yet met the Kontras Quartet." Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Kontras. That was quite a killer beginning. What was that piece?
You want to say?
Yeah,
Go
sure.
for it.
You guys are so nice to each other. It's like, no, you go.
It's called Four Tango by Piazzolla.
By Astor Piazzolla, the Argentinian composer.
It's actually the only thing that he ever wrote for a string quartet, so we're very happy to have this piece because it's quite different to many other quartet things that we have in the repertoire. Great to have that Piazzolla piece.
Have you guys tried dancing to it?
Jean has. She's pretty good at figuring these things out.
I'll try to dance to just about anything now.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll see some of that later in the show, right? That's great. So I want you guys to talk a little bit about how you started, and first of all, introduce yourselves. What your names are and where you all come from, because I'm sure our audiences would love to hear all about you.
Hi, I'm Dmitry. I'm the first violinist in the quartet, and I'm from Russia.
Hi, my name is Francois. I'm the second violinist, and I'm from South Africa originally.
I'm Jean, and I come from right here in Chicago.
And I'm from Japan.
And we have a pretty interesting name that Francois will tell us about it because the name itself is in his native tongue of
Afrikaans. Yeah.
Afrikaans.
So our name is Kontras, which literally means contrasts because of our contrasting background. Yeah.
So, but all of you came from different countries, right? So you're from Russia, and you're from Africa, you're from, and
The country of the Midwest.
And you're from 5 minutes away from here. How did you guys end up together? This is so fascinating for me as a musician. You go from all different parts of the world, and you end up in one place playing in one group. How did this all happen?
Well, we all kind of followed different paths, but we ended up at the same time at the Civic Orchestra of Chicago, and that's where we met.
And you're all principal players there, right?
And so we decided, we like working with each other, so let's try doing that.
But you were in the orchestra, right? But you still felt this chemistry going on, or from all the principal players. Like, how did that happen?
Well, as principals, we had to get together, work on the music at hand as first 4 people, and then sort of push it down the line to the rest of the section, and that's the procedure in that orchestra. And we like doing that, but we at some point figured, well, just the 4 of us.
Isn't so bad.
Isn't
Isn't
so
all
bad.
that
Right. Then you don't really have to pass it on to anybody, right?
Right. That's exactly right.
Right. So tell me a little bit, like, how you guys grew up. Everybody asks me always, how old were you when you started playing piano? That's like the ultimate question. So why don't we get rid of all of that very quickly? So how old were you?
I was 4. I asked my parents for a toy. They gave me a violin. It's not what I had in mind.
Were your parents musicians?
They're musicians. They're pianists.
They're pianists. Okay, so you grew up with 2 pianists giving you a violin as a gift. Right. Okay.
Right. Well, and my parents are also musicians.
Oh,
My
okay,
father was actually my first violin teacher. But I'm the youngest in the family, and so I guess watching my sister play the violin, she was a little older than I was, I kind of knew that I kind of wanted to do everything she was doing.
So you're looking up to her.
That's right,
So you
that's right, yeah.
I had the opposite. I had 2 older sisters who played the violin, so by the time they got to me, they were like, no more violins in the house. It's too much. I was 3 years old when I started playing the cello, and I don't remember, but I feel like the story goes that I actually really wanted to play the harp, and I was told it was too big. So
don't they have like an eighth of a size harp or something?
Probably
like
so, but to schlep around a cello is bad enough. But
right.
To schlep around a harp is probably even more effort. And so the cello wasn't so bad. I was actually very, very happy that I ended up with a cello. My dad played the cello, so we had one in the house.
Okay.
And so it was around.
What about you,
I was also 3 when I started, and my mom plays the violin and my dad plays the contrabass in the same orchestra in Tokyo for more than 30 years now. And I started on violin, but I switched to a viola when I was like 15 because I
Of
So
course.
I like it.
But
yes.
they always make fun of violas for,
Oh,
what was
I
your
know.
first instrument?
Every
Are we
day.
going to go into viola jokes now? It was not in my script, but we could. So, so you always imagined just that one day you want to become a concertizing. Oh, I think we got a tweet.
I think we have our first tweet of the day.
Yay! What's the tweet of the day?
So this is coming from, let's see, Tilla Hankins.
Hankins. Really, Hankins. I think isn't that,
What time is it now?
what time is it in Africa? I think that's his mom.
Yeah, it's my mother.
No?
Yeah.
Okay, what is
That's
she
kind of
saying?
scary.
So it's written, Diet vol sus jitter less in my cello something. I think this.
Something about cello.
Yeah.
Okay, can you bring it up
She
to
can
us?
speak English, I promise. But,
Probably not at 3 a.m.
yeah, not at this time in the morning.
All right, we'll pass it on to you
I
to
can't
read.
believe she's up. It's ridiculous. Oh,
Hi, Mom, in Africa.
Should I translate or should I?
I'm actually curious what it sounds like
Okay.
in Afrikaans. It's
Okay. Dit voel soos gister toe François Kie gedurende my lesgeery in my chillokus ingeklim het om eltjies te knip gedurende die dag. Waar vlieg die tyd heen?
wow.
And how?
So
And
what
it
does that
literally
mean?
means, it feels like yesterday when little Francois, that's what Francois Kie means, little Francois used to climb into my cello case while I was giving lessons, to take naps, because I was small enough to fit in it, I guess. And where has the time flown? I guess.
I wonder if that's what it actually says, because Francois
Yeah.
about
Yeah, you probably just,
Filter.
this is where improvisation comes
Yeah,
in.
filter.
So, I'm happy that you weren't fitting into a violin case,
Yeah, sure.
Like that would have not be good at all. So, did you guys always have these dreams? I mean, did you envision yourself just always being a musician, or did you
No.
He has a great story. I think
You have a
both
great
me and
story.
Dimitri
Have a
were-
great story.
Yeah, I remember you told me that you always really wanted to be a soccer player or something.
Oh.
Well, I still do, but
Well,
I
he's from
figured
Russia,
by 30
obviously.
I'm not playing, in the World Cup final. Maybe that's what I should stick to.
So you stick with what you're good at.
I,
So you're
what I'm
smart.
better at.
So you're smart. That's good.
Thank you.
What did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be a violinist.
You
My
wanted to
mom
be-
is a violinist, so I
Yeah.
grew up with many, many musicians around me. I thought everybody plays the music.
Yeah.
Little.
Well, I want to share my horribly embarrassing story because I started playing piano when I was 6. But before that happened my debut because my grandparents were actually opera singers and they traveled and sometimes they would take me to babysit. So my first experience with music was going to these operatic events where they rehearsed before. So in the dress rehearsal, of course, in Russia we didn't have diapers. So what they had to do is travel babysitting with, a little potty, thing. And so they just put a little kid, 2-year-old, on a little potty. And so they put me on stage for rehearsal and they just forgot about me. And what happened was, at the time when the performance started, the curtains go, they open up and the main act is this little 2-year-old. And, I still remember it, believe it or not, I still remember those curtains opening up and me sitting
And
there.
how good that felt.
It felt so great. I just wanted to be on stage. I was born to be on stage. Anyway, so you guys all come from this, backgrounds that are amazing, and you come together and making music. But then you choose your programs very, very wisely to exemplify that differences in you. So the next piece that you're playing, can you tell us what it is?
Yes, this is a very famous Japanese folk song called Yagibushi. It's a kind of fast song. People dance with this music during outside summer festivals. And they wear hat often and throw the hat away in the very end of the piece.
Mm-hmm. So that's what the next piece is
Yes.
about. Okay. Quartet here won a really, really prestigious prize from Chamber Music America to commission a work by any composer they wished, or how did that work? Did you guys have a choice? Of
You know,
who
we
you
actually
commissioned?
had to apply for that, and what we did
With a
was
specific
with a
project in
specific
mind.
Okay, with a
yeah,
specific
project in
project.
mind. And so what we decided to do is we started playing while we were down in North Carolina with a folk group called the Kruger Brothers.
Yeah.
And their banjo player, turns out, is a fantastic classical music composer. And so they actually contacted us while we were down there. We went for a few rehearsals of a piece that he already had called the Appalachian Concerto. And
That's very beautiful, by the way. You should check it out.
yeah, it's great.
online,
Do
yeah.
check them out. They're fantastic. And we immediately after the first rehearsal said we need him to write a new piece for us because that is going to be fantastic.
So what is the piece like? Is it the bluegrass? Is it in bluegrass style or?
Ish.
Ish.
It's both. I mean, I think it borrows a lot from the bluegrass sound, but it's way more complicated and intricate than your typical bluegrass. This is their impression, not mine. Plinky, plinky, plinky. Like it's not. It's much more complex and inventive, really, than that. But it's not right quite what you hear in classical world either. I just got tweeted.
Oh,
Ooh,
sweet.
double tweeted.
There's another tweet. This one sounds like it's from a Paul Miller. And the question is, the cellist is really cute.
Thank you,
What
Paul.
was the question?
Does she have a boyfriend?
Does she have a boyfriend? Do you have a boyfriend?
I do.
You do
actually.
have a boyfriend.
I do have a boyfriend, Paul. I am so sorry.
Who's your boyfriend?
My boyfriend actually, this is a really convenient segue. I feel badly for Paul, but at his expense, he's setting us up really nicely for the next piece.
Oh.
Which is actually by a brilliant composer named Dan Visconti. And this was a piece that we came across a couple years ago and started performing, and actually
Before they were dating.
Before we were dating.
Before you were dating.
And
really.
then very recently, in fact, Dan and I have started dating. So yeah,
Wow. So wait. So the next piece that we're going to hear is by your boyfriend.
it's by my boyfriend.
Wow.
yes.
Okay. That's sorry, Paul. All right. Well, I want to. Well, before we get there, I actually want to get you guys to explain a little bit more about the programmings that you do, because you know, on your website you have listed like 14 programs.
That's right.
And they're all fascinating. Would you please tell me, because every single one of them has some kind of theme and idea behind it. It's not just, okay, we're playing all Brahms. It has themes to it. So can you tell us?
Well, we've got the From Our Homelands concert, which is kind of what we are just putting on a disc actually pretty soon. It's going to come out in a couple of months now, called Origins, and this will have a piece from each of our home countries, and this is usually a piece by Kevin Volans, who's a South African composer. Stravinsky, you know, since the Stravinsky Three Pieces was, you know, premiered here in Chicago 100 years ago. We've got the piece we just heard. We've got 4 Japanese folk songs on this disc, and then we've got this Dan Visconti piece called Ramshackle Songs. But then we like to give things to presenters so that they have something to advertise already, so that they don't have to come and ask us, okay, would you play this and how are we going to sell it? We like to have a catchy title to our program.
Right.
Yeah.
And one of the catchy titles that I saw was Sports in Music, right? So what is that all about?
Okay, well, so we do a lot of shows for kids who can sometimes be a hard sell on classical music, particularly when...
classical? Hard sell?
I know. Believe
that's
it or
weird.
not every child grows up in a household where classical
Right.
music is common. This was something that we all learned the hard way,
Yeah.
of course. But when we were working in North Carolina, we found that, you know, a lot of kids had never, didn't even know who Mozart, Beethoven were. I mean, that wasn't a part of their life. And so we wanted to find a way to get in with them and connect with them about what we do on terms that maybe they could understand better.
So you chose sports,
So
of
chose
course,
sports.
because it's the most
Right,
obvious,
right.
yeah.
And because I noticed that a lot of these kids would do, I mean, at the very least in gym class, but a lot of them were in extracurricular sports teams and soccer teams. And I got to thinking about, well, okay, you know, actually playing in a string quartet can be very similar to playing on a soccer team, for example. Everybody's got a job to do. And if we all do our jobs well and work together, it can be really great. But for example, if I play my cello part for a Mozart quartet by myself, it's not like a thing. It's not
So it's
very
about
entertaining.
teamwork.
It's about
Yeah,
teamwork.
it's
Like,
working
and so the
together.
analogy
Yeah.
is that like it'd be like watching a goalie play soccer by himself.
Yeah.
Not a thing. But we take
Too
it
easy.
Yeah. So we talk about teamwork and we talk about what it means to work together and do your job for the greater good. But then we also expand it into other topics too, like being athletic. You have to be in good shape, and we'll do something like play Vivaldi Summer, which is very fast and lots of activity, so that the kids can see like, oh yeah, you have to practice, you know, and we talk about like competition too, that like music also can involve competition. It's not all just like la la la. Sometimes we can fight for attention, and that's an element of music too sometimes.
Right.
And
And another program is you guys have Looney Tunes. What is that?
That's in the program actually. That's the competition
Oh,
piece.
so that's a competition piece.
Right.
Okay.
So what
Maybe
we
we
do,
can illustrate
we
that.
should.
Oh,
So what
okay.
we do, this is the setup. This is how it goes. Pretend you're fourth and
So
fifth
am I in
graders.
danger zone if I stay here right now?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
Yeah, actually you are. So this is kind of how it shakes down when you're in like a gym full of a bunch of like fourth and fifth graders. And we say that, you know, music has competition, and we'll say there's actually a particular kind of piece that is almost written as a sort of competition in and of itself. And this is when I talk about what a fugue is. So a fugue is a piece of music where the theme or the tune gets passed around to different voices, and everybody sort of gets highlighted in that way, instead of a probably more traditional approach of having one person play the melody and everyone else is backup. And so this is a very democratic kind of music, but it's also very competitive too, can be, if we choose to make it that way. And so what we do then is we play a fugue that we found, a really, really fun fugue, and we tell the kids that we are going to be competing for their attention. And we make them vote at the end.
Oh, cool. Well, I think we'll vote.
All right, cool.
Okay, we'll vote. He wins.
Yes. Would be nice. Vote by the show of hands. So, who thinks I won?
I'll team up with the Russian. Okay.
And?
Oh, that's it?
Francois?
Francois? Couple people.
I?
Yeah!
Getting there. And who do you think? Well, do we have people that think that Gene won?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
The guys are too quiet. You need to make some noise.
I don't think the boys have ever won.
No.
I
No?
don't think we've ever
It's always
won.
the girls. Well, you know,
It's
Paul obviously would vote for the girl. Yeah.
Oh, there's
Yeah,
Paul.
Oh, we've got Paul again. Yeah.
We have a couple questions actually.
Oh.
One is from Marina, and Marina wants to know if you guys were Looney Tunes characters, which would you be?
What
The next question comes
You were a
from,
Looney Tune character.
well, answer this one and then we'll go to the next one. How about that?
Okay. So if you were, the question was, if you were a Looney Tunes character, which one would you be?
Everybody wants to be Bugs Bunny, right?
Not me.
No?
I'm too
Okay.
slow for being a bunny.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of Looney Tunes characters.
Oh.
Wasn't Donald Duck a Looney Tunes
No.
I fail. I guess I don't get to be one.
Donald Duck's Disney, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dima, did you watch Looney Tunes
Oh,
when you were
absolutely.
like a kid? Because I grew up in Russian. I didn't.
No, I did, but I'm with you.
You
I
were
was on the
privileged.
other side
You were
from
privileged.
Bugs Bunny. I wanted to be Hunt and Wabbit.
Oh, you
yeah.
you wanted to be Elmer Fudd? That's good.
So
Come on.
speaking of rabbits and stuff, I wanna hear what. So you why are you laughing? Yes, I'm going to ask you about your sex lives.
Oh. Rabbit.
But you guys, you know, when you're in a quartet like this and you're practically married to each other, you rehearse together. Have any of you dated
No.
No.
each other? No.
That's why we're
Believe it or
still.
not,
That's why we're
somehow.
still together.
You're still together? Okay. Okay.
We go from 10 to 3, and at 3 we divorce, and we see each other next day.
So okay. So what does your personal life look like? I mean, do you have significant others? Do you have kids? And how does it work with the quartet? You all point to I all of a sudden.
Because, yeah, I have a daughter, 16-month-old,
Aw.
married. So it's a very different life, you know, when I
Right.
see those people when I'm at home. It's like a different life. Yeah.
How do you play concerts? Because you guys are very busy. You're on the road quite a lot. So how do you
My
make this
husband
work?
helps me a lot, thanks, Chad. And then I have a babysitter in North Carolina when I go to North Carolina.
Yeah.
So
But that's in
works.
North Carolina. What do you do in Chicago?
Chad.
A daycare place.
Oh, I
daycare,
see.
yeah.
So your husband takes care of the baby in Chicago, and the babysitter in North Carolina.
Right.
Do you ever get to see the baby?
I get to see my baby.
Yeah.
Sometimes we are very busy, but sometimes we are not so
Do
busy.
you guys ever
so-
travel together with the baby?
She comes always.
She often
Yes.
Always
yeah,
comes.
Yeah.
often.
But I usually fly and they drive.
That's right.
And so we drive the baby stuff, and she flies with.
So they've been
Maya.
helping, you know, us a lot too.
Right. So you
that's
got
how-
a car full of diapers, and
Yes,
she's flying
right,
first
exactly.
class.
Bye, I'll see you in Chicago.
That's great. So why don't we hear that Dan Visconti? I'm very curious what your boyfriend sounds like now. So. I think we all do. You guys just have such incredible energy with each other. Okay, we're not gonna lie. We did rehearse together, right? And I see how you work with each other, and you're so in peace and love with each other, and it's pretty amazing. But there's got. Okay, we
There's
gotta
be
tweet.
another question. So this one's coming from Anya Kazdan. It says, what a unique and beautiful piece. Question for all the musicians and the host. If you could play any other instrument other than the one you already excel at, what would it be and why, or perhaps already is?
Oh, wow.
I have the answer. I would love to play the banjo.
Banjo.
I started the banjo when I was in North Carolina, and that's my, I would love to learn. I have a banjo at home.
Okay.
Yes. Do you have anything like that? Harp?
Well, if it had to be an instrument, actually, I'd probably say piano.
Ah.
But if it didn't have to be an instrument, I'd actually want to do more ballet.
Ah, okay.
If I wasn't a
So I
cellist,
guess
I would
we can phrase the question differently and say, what would you do if you weren't a cellist?
Yeah, I'd
Right?
probably be a ballerina. Yeah.
So you'll be a ballerina.
I also want to.
You'll be a ballerina too?
I wish I'd listened to my parents and did more with the piano. I'm really bad.
I wish I listened to my parents and became a lawyer, right? No, I don't.
Can't always listen to our parents. No. Sorry, Mom.
Oh, yeah, speaking of parents, well, your mom.
Yeah.
Tweety. What about you?
You know, I would rather be doing this for the rest of my life. Guys, what do you think about that? I think we should keep playing.
Keep playing. Just keep playing. Well, you've got so far, so.
Might as well keep doing it.
Anyway, so what I was going to ask you before I was rudely interrupted by the Twitter is, you see? My mind just escaped me. That you are so in love with each other, and it looks so amazing, but there's got to be ways where, there's got to be moments where you just get into fights and you say, you know what, screw this, I'm going to go be a ballerina. Right? I mean, in the group, what is the most annoying qualities of the other person that you can possibly think of? The worst annoying qualities.
Probably leave now because they
When we
give them
go
chance.
somewhere, we stay at the same place, right? We get ready very quickly.
Yes.
And very often we have to wait for those keyboards. That's my moment.
So it's the girls who take time.
That's right.
I mean, very quickly, and
Yeah,
you guys are.
very quick.
What are you
can
doing?
be,
What, you
if
put
we
on
need to be.
makeup, or what are you doing?
Yeah.
Do you try on different dresses?
We're
or-
just slow. We're just slow. I'm from South Africa. We take things slowly. Yeah.
You take things slow.
A quick
What about
question
you?
that might bring out some annoying qualities, I don't know. But this is coming from Franz Alexander. Can you tell us some viola jokes?
Oh.
Who wants to tell
Only
us the
violists
best
are allowed to
jokes?
tell viola
Diva,
jokes.
go for
always
it.
has funny
Okay, go
He
for
plays
it.
viola.
What's a violist's favorite instrument?
What
I'd
is
say
it?
harp. It's all open strings and all plucked.
But you see, she's still smiling. So
No, she actually, we teach at this camp in the summertime, and she actually, one year, we give out rewards, stickers for people who do things that we tell them to do.
don't tell me that she gave out rewards for the
Yes.
best viola.
No,
joke.
no, she did. So one year we got to school one morning to go and teach all of our coachings, and someone had taken this to the next level. So overnight, there were 100 viola jokes taped to the wall
In front of my room.
in front of the room, and you walked down the hall and just opened these flaps, and they were all just littered. Somebody must have spent all night putting up all these viola jokes, and
Wow.
it was she loves it.
You love
She
it.
says she loves it.
What she says.
Those?
Okay, so there's absolutely nothing about you. Okay, besides getting ready. What else? I mean, what else? Spill the beans. Tell us.
Well, I think why we
This
get
is,
so...
I'm giving you an opportunity, a moment,
Yeah.
to, you know, they have those anger
true.
rooms. One has now in Dallas, they have those anger rooms. And I think there should be for quartet. There should always be an anger room.
What is it?
You go in and they literally allow you to bash
Sounds like a practice studio.
anything you want. Like there's TVs, there's bats that you can use, and you go in and everything is like secure and protected, and no wires hanging so you can't hang yourself. But you just go in and you just go crazy, like just
When are we in
destroying
Dallas,
everything.
guys? When are we?
We
when
go
are
to
we-
Dallas.
When are you in
That's right.
Dallas?
We
When
have to
are you
go
in
to
Dallas?
Dallas.
But they have
They
them in
should do
Japan
that.
too.
We do?
Yeah, that's what I hear.
You should do that with a room full of instruments.
I mean, you guys are saying that you don't need one.
Not yet.
Not
we've,
yet.
only, we've only been together for 5 years. You know.
Okay, so well, it seems like a perfect marriage.
For now,
So,
that's right.
but speaking of marriage, then you know, I think the next composer that you guys are playing didn't have such a good marriage, did he?
That's right. Yeah, we're going to be playing a third movement from the Janacek second string quartet, or with the title Intimate Letters. And it's called Intimate Letters because most of the music that he wrote later in his life was inspired by this love affair, air quote affair, he had with a lady that was not his wife.
Right.
And she was also married with a child. And half of, I think, what if we found out half of this relationship was real and the other half was completely imagined. So for
By
example,
him?
by
It was
him,
imagined
yeah,
by
by him. So he wrote her something like over 700 love letters over the course of I can't remember how many years, and they're all extremely, extremely passionate. I mean, this guy.
And how old was he when he wrote this then?
When he wrote this, he was 70.
Because that was his
70s.
last piece,
Yes.
right?
This was his last piece.
That's
So he was
Right.
70 something. How old was the girl?
In the 20s,
Yeah.
something.
In her 20s?
Yeah.
She was
Yeah.
much younger.
Yeah.
So it's
okay.
kind of a
Much
weird,
younger.
creepy story. But
I'm not really sure we're moving for it, you know?
yeah, it's a little creepy.
All right.
But you know, I mean, he wrote all this fantastic music, and I mean, the emotions are undeniable. You know, he changes. Just like he would in his letters, if you read them, he changes the tone so much, you know. And apparently, she only wrote him back a handful of times, and he
Right.
wrote her 7.
Probably something like,
so
please
most of
leave me
his-
alone.
Please write me back. Yeah, please write me back. So you have these beautiful moments here, but they're always kind of anguished, I would want to say. You know, they're never quite happy.
Right.
If that makes any sense. And to make it a little creepier, I guess, this third movement, I think it was the Smetana Quartet's violist who said that he saw this, at least the beginning part of this, as a lullaby that he wrote for the son that they never had together.
Oh,
So,
Very creepy.
So there you go. This is your late Valentine's Day, Janacek's third movement.
Another one.
This one's coming from Amanda Porter. It says, wonderful music selection and superb performance. All of the members seem to have married themselves to music and a performing career. I wonder if they see themselves in this world for the long haul. The norm everywhere else suggests that most of us will make 15 to 20 career changes in a lifetime. Musicians and artists seem to have made their commitment early on and stick to it. Still, there are others, like Charles Eves comes to mind. He was also an insurance executive, an actuary, who not only contributed greatly to music history, but also other disciplines. Do any of the performers here have aspirations outside of the music world?
That can't have been a tweet.
Yes,
more than 100
I saw
It's
it.
more than 140
Well,
characters.
that's true. It was a comment. It was a Facebook comment.
This was a Facebook comment.
Facebook is more for people who can want to express themselves fully, you know, not like, yo, what's up?
That's right. That's a very thoughtful question.
So,
That's a good question. He or the person whoever wrote this comment is absolutely correct that as musicians we do so much training from such a young age that it's very difficult for us actually to change careers later on if we so choose. But because we start so early, I think like Dimitri was saying, it's hard for us to imagine doing something different. There are a lot of exceptions though. I'm married to a wonderful woman named Erica Hinkins. She's here this evening.
hi, Eric.
I actually met her at music school. And she's a fantastic violinist, great pianist. But then she decided, the professional music career is not for her. She of course had a different career option after that for her because she had a double degree in Spanish. So she was prepared to be able to do something
Right.
else. So that helps, I think it helps. But
Yeah, it's one thing to want to do something, it's another to realize at
Yes, that's
25 that I don't really know how to
that's
do
true,
anything.
that's true.
At the same time, I think that it's so difficult now to make a living as a musician
Right.
full time that you have plenty of opportunities to change your mind. And if you don't change your mind, it's because you're absolutely certain it's the thing
Because
for
you're
you.
very sadistic or
You're very
masochistic.
sadistic or masochistic. You just can't, you're really cruel to yourself. No, I don't know, but I think that the people who, I think you're actually constantly trying to have a career. I don't think you ever really feel like,
You have it.
I have
now,
my
so
job,
now I've made
security,
it. Yes.
and I've made it, and I think that appetite keeps it interesting. I
I
think
think a lot of the times when you feel like you've made it, this is when the passion kind of
Right.
just winds down, and then you don't even play as good as anymore.
It just doesn't
as
matter
you
as
used
much
to
to you,
because
right.
there's that edge. That well, speaking of edge and excitement, and actually speaking of different careers, I'd like to move on to our special guest, and this gentleman has started the Ars Viva Orchestra, and he was named the Chicagoan of the Year of 2004. He was also named the Conductor of the Year in 2005. He started master singers here in Chicago for a couple, I think 150 singers, amazing, and has traveled all over the world conducting. So please welcome Maestro Alan Hetherington. What, is there something wrong with that chair? Oh, the mic. Be careful because maestros are very, very feisty sometimes. It's
Do you think?
yeah, what do you guys think?
Never.
Well,
Never.
so you have to be careful what you say now, because your job and life depends on this, gentleman.
He's our boss. That's
we're lucky that we actually like him.
And
You
batons
are-
are pretty sharp.
Batons are sharp. Do you usually do that? Is that how your orchestras run? You just kind of, you inspire them.
On bribes. It's all on bribes.
It's all right. That's fantastic. Well, tell us about this Ars Viva and how you ended up having such an incredible orchestra.
It's a phoenix story, out of the ashes. I was for 18 years music director of a professional string orchestra in Chicago called the Chicago String Ensemble. And various things happened, which I won't go into, but the orchestra sort of disintegrated. And we sat down and said, okay, so what do we do next? Because that was really sort of the centerpiece of what I was doing professionally at that time. And we had talked about bringing that orchestra to a higher level, perhaps by employing more Chicago Symphony players and some other sort of top-of-the-line freelancers. And so we said, well, rather than just going that distance from a string orchestra to a better string orchestra, why don't we take a shot at starting an orchestra
From scratch.
from scratch.
Yeah. So when you have an opportunity like this, it's really incredible because you can build anything you want.
You can build anything you want. And I'd been living in Chicago and making my professional life in Chicago for enough decades at that point that I knew basically the Chicago musical community extremely well. As a violinist primarily, but I'd done enough conducting that a lot of them knew me also as a conductor. So our very first concert, the orchestra was made up of many Chicago Symphony and lyric opera musicians and fantastic freelancers filling in the blanks. The first concert was an enormous success. We did a Midwest premiere of a work by a composer then living in Chicago. And that was that's the whole genesis of Ars Viva, the old and the new, the
That's
Ars,
what the name.
exactly,
Right.
Ars from representing the past and Viva, life and the new. So a Midwest premiere coupled with the Mozart Jupiter Symphony. It was an enormously successful concert. It really launched Ars Viva. It gave us the confidence that going forward, this could fly. And 20 years later, there's the story. The orchestra has done phenomenally well. It's still filled up with lots of Chicago Symphony players and some lyric opera players, and not half bad freelancers, so to speak. So yeah, that's in a nutshell. That's the Ars Viva story.
But also you do really adventurous programming. So
we've done everything. That was a determination, again, in the very naming of the group, that we wouldn't be a specialist orchestra, that this piece of the repertoire wouldn't be our niche to the exclusion of anything else. So yeah, we've done everything. We've done a lot of world premieres, a lot of American premieres, but we've done a lot of standard repertoire.
Right.
We still do a lot of standard repertoire. Without apologies, it's one of my lines, if a piece is a war horse, there's a reason.
Right.
I mean, a war horse is a status that says this piece has endured 1, 2, 3 centuries of performances. People still want to play it, and people still want to come and hear it. No apologies for a war horse.
Right.
But the balance has been fun. I mean, balance is the number one word for me in my programming philosophy, no matter whether it's with the choral group, Chicago Master Singers, or Ars Viva, or anything else that I've done along. I've tried to avoid getting pigeonholed or becoming a niche musician.
Right.
Rather like these people, I mean,
well, I was going to say you have something in common.
Well, yeah. I mean, because tonight they've played for us, I think, all 20th and 21st century music. But I think the first time I heard them play as a quartet, the first thing they played was a movement of a Haydn quartet. And I've heard them play Beethoven quartet. And so their repertoire is diverse, and they've not, I think you've avoided a niche also, though you have that identity of we play stuff from our assorted countries of origin, and that's great fun. That's something special about this quartet.
So tell us about your next concert. What is happening with Ars Viva?
Next concert. Am I going to be interrupted by a tweet?
Yeah, is that a tweet or is that somebody forgot their phones?
That's in the others.
Okay. Next concert's kind of fun. My concertmaster for most of the duration of Ars Viva has been David Taylor, who's the assistant concertmaster of the Chicago Symphony, and a terrific violinist, a graduate of Juilliard as a performance major, could have had a solo career, decided to have an orchestral career, played in the first
quite
violins.
a career, too.
Well, a terrific career. He was in the Cleveland Orchestra and he heard about an opening for assistant concertmaster in the Chicago Symphony. He was extremely ill.
When he took the audition?
So he said, well, what's to lose? I'll go play the audition as best I can, given my physical circumstances, and go back to Cleveland, where I have a great job.
Right.
Came, sometimes that's what works in it, because he had no pressure, in a sense. He came, he played the audition, he went back to Cleveland, he got the phone call, he won the audition. And he's made the rest of his career as an assistant concertmaster, and not infrequently concertmaster, because he's poised to move up when someone's not there, and in Ravinia as well.
So he's playing with another violinist, though, right?
When I was conducting the Lake Forest Symphony, my concertmaster became Ilya Kahler, who is
phenomenal.
without question one of the greatest violinists on the planet.
Yes, I heard Ilya Kahler because he's Russian as well since I was born.
Yes.
And to live now in the same city with Ilya, it was just so incredible. It's
and
like
Dmitri
he's playing right there.
with him
and
for
Dmitri
a while
studied with
as
him.
well.
Yeah.
So there's lots of great connections. Ilya and I, artistically and personally, hit it off from the beginning. When he assumed the role of concertmaster for me in the Lake Forest Symphony, someone who wanted the job came to me and said, "Big mistake, Alan, he'll be gone in a year." Because he is a concert violinist. He's a soloist. That's what he's not really primarily an orchestral player. He played all the rest of my tenure at the Lake Forest Symphony, and he plays in Ars Viva as second concertmaster on the first stand with David Taylor. We just
this is what I felt when I came to your concert, and it was absolutely incredible love that you shared on stage.
On that stage,
I have never seen an orchestra with so much love for each other, because you had this bond and friendship towards each other between you and concertmaster, between the concertmaster and the sections, and it was just incredible to watch that.
Yes, I
chemistry.
call Ars Viva rehearsals love fests, because right away.
Can we go to?
But as soon as we sit down and start to make music together, the magic happens, and the love is there, and it just makes it incredibly. It's intense. I mean, we're working hard. It's not just we just throw it together and go play a concert, but the right kind of positive chemistry is there, and often, even in the great professional orchestras, people have been sitting in their chair for 25, 30 years. They're a little bit tired of being there. The conductor is the same guy, and he's saying the same things, and it's, But 20 years, we haven't lost that love.
That's amazing. Well, I hope there's
Ars Viva.
millions more years.
So the concert, which was your question, I've got these two amazing violinists, and what we've been doing in recent seasons is kind of alternating years. One or the other of them plays a solo concerto as part of the regular season. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun to do a concert called Dueling Violinists and have them play double concertos as, well, like your competition piece, right? So, and they get along very well. So, but I thought it would be fun not just to do the most famous of all double concertos for two violinists, the Bach double, which every violinist in the world knows, loves, plays, but also to do a 20th century work that hardly anyone knows. Neither David nor Ilya even knew the piece existed.
What is it?
It's Malcolm Arnold, English composer. Everybody says, who? But can you all whistle the Bridge on the River Kwai melody for me? Thanks. See? That's Malcolm Arnold. He made his living, like a lot of composers, writing film scores, but he was a brilliant composer of classical music as well. And he wrote this great two-violin concerto, which is inherently like a competition, because the violinists are just playing off each other. One plays some fast upward scale movement thing, and the other one answers playing down the same scale. I mean, it's a fun piece with a beautiful, heart-rending slow movement tucked in between.
That's beautiful. So that is happening on March 1st,
March the 1st.
At 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
And where can we find the information?
It's, arsviva.org. That's arsviva.org is the website, and the concert is at the North Shore Center for the Performing Arts in Skokie, a hall that's so splendid that my Chicago Symphony players say they'd rather play in that hall than on the stage of Orchestra Hall.
Oh, that's quite a statement.
Because it's a wonderful acoustic, and there's this immediate intimacy with the audience.
Right. exactly.
So it's
So tell us, you have, it's kind of, I don't know if it's a big secret or if it's a small secret or if everybody knows, but when you got a scholarship to study at Eastman as a violinist, you just said, no, there's something else that I'd rather do.
How do you know this?
I have my secret agents.
Wow, I guess
Spies.
So. I mean,
I'm Russian.
Wait, I have a weapon here.
You have, I have a weapon. I know what we're going to do.
I have
Get your weapon out. Get your weapon out.
I have 8 weapons here.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Maestro, I ask you for the...
Who won?
Who won?
Is it time for another vote? I only voted for you because of Paul. I was being his surrogate. Surrogate voter. Yeah. What was your question?
So, why?
Yeah. I did turn down a scholarship to be a violin performance major at Eastman School in order to be a student at the Moody Bible Institute in Chicago. And, you know, while I'm sitting over here listening to you guys talk about what you do and what you might do, what you would have done, could have done, might have liked to do, but your commitment now to doing what you are doing, it just goes all over me in terms of my own personal, professional and personal background, because I have made my career as a professional musician, as a violinist, as a conductor. That was ultimately my career choice to this point. And I recognized everything that they're saying as young people. I mean, I've got a granddaughter her age, so I'm really the old man of this show. What the music profession demands. And it's not just what it demands to get where you are as a great concert pianist, where they are as an amazing string quartet and as great individual players, but it's not a profession like riding the bicycle, where once the mechanics are achieved, that's it, and if you don't practice riding the bicycle, you just go out and get on it and go. This profession demands that you stay there, right, relentlessly. Relentlessly. If you stop practicing, the career is over. You can't go on facility. So it devours you.
You know, this is wonderful because I almost feel like I'm in the church listening to a sermon. And tell me, is it different? So you are an ordained minister, right?
I'm on that path.
Oh, you're on that path.
I have taught biblical studies and theology for a 10-year segment of my life.
Right.
Before I devoted myself to
what
the
makes
music
you more
career.
nervous, being before congregation or being before the orchestra? And how is it different?
That's a good question. At this point, definitely being in front of the congregation makes me more nervous by a whole lot. Why is that? Well, in part it's because I've done this music thing for more than 50 years. And
Just in case I'm moving my balls, I don't hearts with you when you're
so it's, well,
So the preaching,
I think
in a way,
we would all say this as performing musicians. There's no such thing as approaching a performance where you're not nervous at all.
Absolutely.
And you don't want ever to reach that point because you would
somebody
communicate that to your audience, that
there's
boredom.
that edge that it gives to the performance when you're
Absolutely.
nervous and when you're passionate.
But I've done violin performance and conducting for so many decades now that it's a more positive and productive and welcomed kind of nervousness, generally speaking. It's the comfortable nervousness. It's the one you can identify. You say, oh, I know what that is, and I know what to do with it. And, you know, I didn't notice your bow bouncing down the string anymore, but there might have been a time in your playing when that happened from nervousness. But the standing in front of a congregation, it's a very different kind of nervousness. It's a combination not only of I haven't done this as much. But it's also, if you take seriously in the Christian realm what a priest is supposed to be, when you stand in front of the congregation, you're standing in the place of God. Or if it's in a Christian church, you're standing in the place of Christ. There is a kind of nervousness that doesn't exist in the music
puts a lot of pressure
performance.
on what you say.
Doesn't exist in the music performance world. It's very different, very different.
Right.
I'm just trying to get used to that.
Right, but it's a fascinating path, and it's amazing to see that you are pursuing both of your incredible passions that you've had all your life.
Yes,
at
they
the
are
same
both
time.
Side by side and
Right.
sometimes
But I think
competing.
in many ways they complement each other,
Right.
and they're very similar. You know, music is
That's
a
right.
healing power, and so is religion. And so you are this person who is bringing so much healing to the world in both kinds of ways, you know, verbally and musically. So
And both
it's
are
beautiful.
things of the spirit, things of the
Exactly.
heart. That's
Yeah.
why we do what we do.
That's why there's so much love on stage when you do it, you know? It's,
Yeah, that's a piece of it.
yes, absolutely.
Yes.
You know, you said in some interview that you wear too many hats. Now, we heard already that, of course, I don't know, being a maestro and, you know, being a preacher as well is already a lot of hats. But I want to hear the hats that are your fun time hats.
My fun time
Yeah.
hats. Yeah, I have those to my wife's chagrin. I have an inordinate number of those passion hats, hobby hats, whatever.
Yeah.
Probably top of the list is I have an absolutely unbridled passion for European travel. It's very inexpensive hobby.
Do you go alone or do you take your
No,
wife?
no, absolutely not.
Together,
We travel
so
together.
that's wonderful.
I don't ever go on any. Have I ever gone? No,
I think we've got a
Never.
tweet.
without my wife.
Do you mind picking up the tweet?
We have a
And-
question.
Yeah.
This is from Vladimir Yanda. A question for Maestro. What is your favorite vacation spot, and where do you draw your inspiration from, and do the two have anything in common?
Oh, that's a beautiful question. Wow, that came so fast. My favorite spot, hands down, although I have probably a dozen favorite spots, but if when I'm pushed to the wall to name one, it's Salzburg and its environs. And I love Salzburg because it's a town you can get to know intimately quickly. You can walk everywhere. There's music going on everywhere constantly at a very high level, from student performances, which are already staggeringly great, to superb professional performances by the world's
That's what I hear
greatest
about New
artists.
Orleans too, no?
Right, yeah, next door.
little bit
right
different.
Next door. Yeah, from Mardi Gras to Salzburg. But the other thing is, probably second on my list of passions outside of music and my faith practice is my love of nature. And my favorite place on planet Earth is just a 20-minute drive away from Salzburg on the Bavarian side. People know Berchtesgaden. It's a wonderful resort town, ski resort and summer resort, year-round resort town. And if you go directly south from there and past Eagle's Nest, which I will not go to, never have and never will, but keep going, you come to an incredible lake called the Königssee. It's so clear you can see to the bottom, and it's deep. Mm-hmm. No motorboats are allowed, so it's clean, pure mountain water. You go on a little electric boat that takes you across the lake and takes you to a little place where they pull trout out of the water and grill them in front of you and serve them up in there. I mean, wow. But then if you carry on and walk beyond the Königssee, another 15, 20-minute walk, you come to what's called the Obersee. And I say that's where God lives. It's absolutely silent. All around you are these towering Bavarian Alps, snow-capped mountains. Here's a smaller lake than the Königssee,
So
but just
God
as
lives
clean.
in a very quiet place.
God lives
He
in
doesn't
a
like
very
music.
No.
That's so sad. I was hoping
Yeah.
to hear he likes Mozart or Brahms. I mean, he's like close to Salzburg. He's got to
Yeah,
have some.
he must. No, there's no question. You know, and we have even in scripture references to the music of creation.
Right.
I think music and God are hand in glove. Maybe that's part of what makes my life work for me.
Right.
But yeah, all of us need those moments of tranquility where we just
Absolutely.
get away from all the noise of life, and then you just feel close to God and in touch with yourself because nothing's interfering.
Right. You know, I feel like you just sent me in that beautiful space,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm just completely transformed. But coming back to reality
Oh,
a little
no.
bit. You know, what I would like to do is a little participation here with our audience. And what I'd like to experiment on is see how musical they are today. And if you don't mind, I will explain this little game. So this is my baton that is not for fighting anymore.
Okay.
Okay, so here's how it goes. It's a little game. And I used to play it when I was a child. We had in Russia weird games like this. But we will subdivide in the middle. Okay, so whoever's on the right side will be play, the word. And then whoever's on the left side would be the word full. So we've got play, full, play, full. Okay, now I will give you some notes. Can we pick a C major maybe? Okay, so C, G, E. Okay, good. So you guys will have play, and then you'll have full. Okay, are you ready? Let's try this. You guys divide into two, right? Okay, so. Join me. Okay, now Maestro, I think I need your help on this because they don't sound very musical at all.
This side's weak.
I'll leave it up to you. Oh, do you want to use your own?
Absolutely, I'm
yes.
used to these weapons.
Oh, wait. Oh, there goes the mics.
I think disconnected. Yes.
Okay, do we need to fix that?
Oh,
Yes.
just unclipped.
We've got our-
That's all, it's just unclipped. He wasn't expecting me to stand up.
Okay, let's practice this while they're fixing it. Alan, please, Alan, please. No, we got to do a little better than this. Yeah, come to the center. Show us all your passion for music, for God, for your Ars Viva, for your quartet, everything. I want to hear it. I want to see this passion. All right. I think you're hired. I think this. Thank you so much. This was absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. And I think now this is the time. Since you worked so hard, I think we will now have the time for the lottery. Do we have? Now, I told you, I promised that there will be prizes. So for those people who have been commenting actively on the internet, you get a special prize. Now, if you can see this, this is my little special case, and this is a very little violin.
It's for me.
Can you fit into this? All right. So it has. Oh wait, this is not internet. I mixed it up. Okay. This is for our live audience. So I will give. And what we're auctioning off are, of course, our tickets for the next show and some CDs. So first we'll go for the tickets. So here. Shuffle. You pick. I'm trusting the Russians. You know, everything is set up. You know, it's all about. Okay. So the winner is.
Oh, I win. Oh, no.
No.
Ilona Polonsky?
Ilona Balonsky. Okay, come up. Okay, you get this. And the CD of the Kontras Quartet. Thank you. Let's do it one more time. This time I'll let the maestro choose. Oh, you can't look. You can't look. Oh, everybody wins. They're all stuck together.
Bernie Conroy.
Bernie, come on stage. Bernie, thank you so much.
I'm on TV without my wig.
TV without his wig, that's what he said. Okay, and now can I have the hat for the audiences in the... All right. Now, the audiences online will win CDs that we will send out to you free of charge from the Kontras Quartet and from myself, yours truly. So, how about you do the honors?
Just one, right?
We can have more.
It's my mom.
It is your mom. Okay, well,
She's getting the CD anyway.
Tila Henkes, that's so funny. She's
Getting the CD anyway, so we can pick again.
We can pick another one. Okay, Mom, sorry. Let's do this. I promise this was not set up.
She's getting a CD anyway, that's right.
Maybe they're all Tila. Maybe she was only the only one.
At
Christine Powers. Okay, Christine Powers, whoever, wherever you're sitting online, you get the CD. Okay, let's do one more.
Okay.
All right, the winner is Leonard Mogul.
Yay!
Yay! And he's actually here. Okay, let's do. How many more should we do? Let's do
One more for I.
Let's do one more. Let's do two more at the same time. How about that? Okay, Gulia Gurevich. Yay! Hey, Gulia. And Julie Macy.
Oh,
Yay! All right, thank you guys so much. Thank you. So, in case you haven't noticed, we have this monster piano on stage, second piano. So I figured that, Brahms wrote his quintet actually originally for two pianos. And, I realized that it's great fun playing with you guys, but, I should probably invite another pianist to play with. What do you think?
No.
No?
No.
Why not?
We're already here.
You're already here. Yeah, that's true. And
I
this
play
will...
piano badly.
You have piano play. Well, I don't know. I mean, I think I'm not so convinced with your, why did Brahms think that it would be better to write it with quartet than
Everything's
piano?
better with quartet.
Everything's better.
Everything's better with quartet.
Well, I mean, okay. Well, now for $5, okay, fine. You've convinced me. This is all set up. Okay, fine. But I think along with this, we need something else. I dare you guys, because Brahms wrote a lot of folk music, and since you're so folky, I want you guys to sing drinking songs for me from your native country. Because I want to see if you can handle the Brahms drinking songs in the piece. So, who wants to start?
If we do well, are we going to be admitted to Chicago Master Singers?
Stick with your first thing.
Stick with your passion. Okay, who wants to start?
I go first. Yours is
All
good.
right.
This is pretty good.
I've been practicing this.
You've been practicing?
All right.
1月は正月で酒が飲めるぞ。
あ、そうね。
酒が飲める、酒が飲める、酒が飲めるぞ。
あ、そうね。
2月は節分で酒が飲めるぞ。
あ、そうね。
酒が飲める、酒が飲める、酒が飲めるぞ。
Tenors?
Tenor section.
Do you have one?
Oh.
Uh-oh. My parents are here. Your parents are here? So you're not going to sing one?
She doesn't know anything.
Okay, fine.
No, that's
Well,
fine. I'm old enough. I'm old enough to know some drinking songs. So, Mom and Dad, I'm sorry. Well, when we lived in the South, there were lots of really great, fun, boisterous drinking songs, and I heard a lot of Red Solo Cup while I was living in the South. You guys know the song?
No.
Good for you. I am proud of this room. It's a terrible thing. Don't ever look it up. It's like red solo cup. I fill you up. Let's have a party. It's horrible. It's horrible.
That's it. You
That
just sang
seems to
it.
be the drinking song du jour.
Awesome.
At least in the southern United States. But if you want to share your favorite drinking song,
I want
or
to share my
tweet
favorite
your
drinking
favorite
song.
drinking
I
song.
want to share my favorite drinking song.
Go for it.
Okay, but I mean, this is not like the real drinking song, but it's more like about drinking song, right? Do you know Chizik Pizik? Okay.
Yes,
Okay, of
practice
course.
it every day.
Okay, let's do it, Dino. Okay, let's do it. You ready?
C major?
C major? Well, I need C major because I don't have perfect pitch unlike all of you. Okay, very good.
As you see.
Чижик, пыжик, где ты был? На фонтанке водку пил. Выпил рюмку, выпил две. Закружилась в голове. Okay. It worked out. It did good. Do you have one? Why are you sitting here so quietly?
I'm
you
sitting
know?
quiet because I don't remember the words to too many of them.
Oh.
I mean, you tend to forget because alcohol makes you forget.
Okay.
So the only song that I really knew, I almost said growing up. It's not what I meant to say. The only song that
The only drinking song I knew when I was growing up.
When I was a kid.
Well, the one that I can remember it's a song. Well, my family have a lot of relatives in the wine industry when I was growing up, and so all of our wines, drinking songs had to do with wine. Like one was called A Little Bit of Wine, which is called Klein Bikkie Wijn, Klein Bikkie Wijn, Klein Bikkie Wijn. Of course, you'd have to have a concertina or something with that.
Can't you do like
And so, but that one is not the one that most people tend to sing. I took a poll actually when you asked us if we could find something. And almost all of my friends came back with the one that says Brandewijn laat my staan, which means brandy, leave me alone.
Well, aren't you gonna sing it?
Yeah, so it is Brandewijn laat my staan. I'll get my drunk voice. Brandewijn laat my staan. And this is why I remember it's the same thing over and over.
This seems like after this seems like it's like after 5 hours.
And it's tyd laat ek huis toe gaan, which is the time that I should go home.
Oh, well, I think it's time for us to play some Brahms.
Right.
Wow, we got a tweet though, really quickly.
I think we have a tweet from Tila Henkins.
You're in trouble. You are so in trouble. What does it say?
Oh, Yime Ek. Anyway,
Okay,
I'll bring this up.
Sorry. So a lot of censoring will happen now, I guess. I'll have to. All right.
Okay, go ahead. In English, in English, English.
Okay. Oh dear, I'm watching a live concert of Francois Jr. My dad's name is Francois as well, and his string quartet. And I just heard him sing "Oh Brandewijn, let me alone." If he asked me before that I would have sent him the string quartet arrangement. But I wasn't going to ask my mom, do a drinking song.
Hey, I want some drinking songs. She was not supposed to even. Okay. Anyway, I think we will be good for Brahms. But there's only one thing I have to say that I have a riddle for you guys, for the audience. So, who never gets as much credit as they deserve, never gets paid, gets the most nervous on stage, and sometimes get whacked by a pianist? Page turner! Yes, you all get free CDs. Anyway, so I, as my victim today, chose my favorite person in the world, my husband, to do this wonderful task for me. And so please welcome on stage my page turner. Quickie. That was a quickie. time because our audience doesn't have a program. So what do you guys think? I think maybe it's okay that when they don't have a program, they can clap and they can always clap. Is that going to be our rule? They can always clap?
We should have a conversation about clapping in concert.
Okay, let's have a conversation about clapping in concert.
The reason that sometimes we're surprised to hear applause after a first movement is because traditionally you're not supposed to clap in between movements of a full piece of chamber music or indeed even a symphony. But what's been happening more and more often, and maybe this has to do with the fact that people listen to tracks independently because of iTunes and stuff like that, that we're now hearing movements more and more as individual works by themselves, and people are starting to clap in concerts, and sometimes they get yelled at.
Most of the time they get yelled at. A lot of the time it's like they get nasty looks or something, you know. So should we just like forget that whole thing then and just say clap when, you know, a couple days ago I was in California and we did these concerts for kids where there was 3,000 kids, and of course they don't know the rules for classical music. They started clapping. I played Gershwin Rhapsody in Blue, and they started clapping after a really cool passage, and I loved it. It was in the middle of the piece, and they just started clapping in the middle because they loved it, and I just said yay. I just like turned to them, I smiled, and I kept going. But they gave me so much energy. It was so fun. Are you guys energized? Should we do one more?
Should we encourage them to clap during the last movement?
Yeah, I think we should encourage. If you guys like what you hear, and I think my husband decided that he doesn't want a page turn from me anymore. Would you please come back, honey? Please, 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 please come back. Please, please come back.
This is the one with the drinking song.
Yes, this is the one with the drinking song. So you guys.
So we practiced already. Warmed up with our drinking songs.
for watching online. Thank you all for coming here live. Our next concert will be March 17th. I should call it more a show, right? The talk show, next to show. March 17th. And these guys, if you'd like to hear them, they're playing on March 7th. Right? Check out their website, check out their CDs, they have t-shirts and all that cool stuff. Also, don't forget the Ars Viva concert on March 1st at 3 p.m. Please be there to see the dueling concertmasters on violins. And now I'd like to say thank you because for me, this has been a really, really long-term dream to make something like this happen, and to see it actually take place is really an incredible joy for me. So I'd like to invite Thomas Zoles, if he's still here. Can you please come? This man is, responsible for making this happen because this is his beautiful home where he has a passion to get a bunch of pianos in one place, and beautiful pianos they are, Faziolis and Yamahas, and so check it out. It's really like a paradise for musicians, and we are here in PianoForte studios, and there's PianoForte Foundation, and there's PianoForte Chicago, and all kinds of PianoFortes. But thank you so much.
Thank you. Yana.
Thank you. And wait, stop. Just stay here. I'd like to also ask Andre to come forward because, there's always behind the scenes and there's always we see things that we don't see. Well, this guy is a doctor, but he turns pages for me and he makes me happy and everything. He helps with every way possible. So thank you so much. I'd like to thank Leonard Magul. Come on stage, please, too. He helped us with a lot of media coverage, and he has this beautiful thing called Arts for Kids Foundation that you should also look into. And he's doing a lot of wonderful work, too. The next two people I can't have come on stage because they actually helped me writing a script, and they live in Moscow. And they're very, very artistic, and their names are Valeria Kovalzon and Diana Saracheva. So thank you to them in Moscow. Of course, I have to say huge thanks to my mom, who's in California. Hi, Mom. I had to take this opportunity. I love you. And, of course, all our internet audiences, thank you so much for tuning in. We saw a lot of comments coming in. We love you guys. Thank you so much. So the next show would be March 17th, and we have guests, all the principal players from the Lyric Opera, John McFarlane, Carol Cook, and Callum Cook. And yes, they do have the same last name, so I guess you'll have to find out why when you come to our show. And anyway, so thank you so much for making this possible, and thank you for joining Playful Talk with Yana Reznik at PianoForte Studios.